Okay, let's be honest. How many of you out there are like totally overwhelmed by the sheer number of emails you get every single day?
You guys didn't even exchange emails.
Yeah.
Most of them are just noise, right?
Yeah.
Straight to the trash.
Yeah.
But what if I told you there's a way to use email to actually get results? Not spammy, but really building connections and maybe even growing your business.
And it's a growing business.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something that might sound a little scary at first, cold emailing. And to guide us, we have a true expert, Syed Abdullah, who's been in the cold email game for years.
Yeah.
His website, emailsequence.com, is like a gold mine of information, and we're going to unpack some of his key insights today.
Sounds good.
So, to start us off, what exactly is cold emailing, and how is it different from, well, just spamming people?
So I just need to check that it's not one of those spam things or something?
Well, Syed actually defines cold email as an email that you send to someone you don't have a prior relationship with.
Okay, so it's unsolicited. But that does sound a lot like spam, at least on the surface.
And that's where the difference lies. See, a well-crafted cold email is all about targeting the right people,
Okay.
personalizing your message, and offering something of genuine value. It's about starting a conversation, not just blasting out sales pitches.
Okay, so it's not about blasting out a generic message to a massive list.
Right.
It's more strategic, targeted, and valuable.
Exactly.
But does it actually work? I mean, are people really opening and responding to these cold emails?
Yeah, they are. And the results are actually pretty impressive.
Really?
Syed has found that cold emails can have an average open rate of 16 to 20% and a reply rate of 8 to 10%.
Wow. Those numbers are way higher than I would have expected.
Right. It's way more effective than most people think.
Okay, so you're telling me that almost 1 in 5 people actually opens a cold email?
Yeah, and that's just the average. When it's done right, it can be even higher.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Do you have any real-world examples of how this actually works?
Yeah, for sure. Syed talks about this case study where a software company wanted to break into a completely new market.
Okay.
Right? So they used cold email to reach out to potential clients. And in just 1 month, they landed 15 demo calls
Wow.
and closed 3 high-value deals.
That's amazing. A whole new market in a month just from cold email. What was their secret?
Well, they really focused on understanding the needs of their target audience.
Spend a little time with our target audience.
And then they crafted these hyper-personalized messages that actually resonated. Instead of just talking about their product features, they showed how it could solve specific problems.
So it's about showing you get their challenges, not just trying to sell them something.
Exactly. It's about providing value and establishing a connection.
Okay, that makes sense. Any other success stories?
Oh, yeah. There's another one, this small digital marketing agency that actually doubled their client base in just 6 months.
Doubled their clients.
Yeah. All thanks to a well-executed cold email strategy.
Wow, I'm starting to see the potential here. And I'm noticing a theme personalization seems to be key.
It really is. Remember that stat we mentioned earlier about personalized subject lines being 26% more likely to be opened?
Yeah.
That's just the tip of the iceberg. When you personalize the whole email, it shows you've taken the time to actually understand the recipient.
Okay, so it's not just a spray and pray approach. You really have to tailor each message. But how do we actually do that?
Well, Syed recommends using resources like LinkedIn,
Okay.
company websites,
Right.
and even industry news to learn about your prospects. You can mention a recent achievement or a challenge their industry is facing.
So it's going beyond just their name and job title?
Yeah,
It's about finding those personal touch points that make them feel seen and understood.
exactly. It's about starting a conversation, not just sending an email.
This is all great information about cold emailing, but I'm also curious about warm emails.
Okay.
Is there a difference? And do both types have a place in our strategy?
Yeah, definitely. Think of it this way. A cold email is like approaching someone you've never met before.
Okay.
You need to make a strong first impression.
Right.
But a warm email is like following up with someone you've already chatted with, maybe at a conference or through a mutual connection.
So if I met someone at an industry event and followed up,
Yeah.
that would be a warm email.
Exactly. You already have that connection, so you can build on that.
And reaching out to a completely new client would be a cold email.
Yeah.
So the approach is different,
Yeah.
but the principles of being clear, concise, and offering value stay the same.
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. So whether it's warm or cold, the goal is to make a genuine connection and offer
But at the end of the day, it's all about finding that one that you have just a genuine connection with.
for something valuable.
Right.
Now, I hear Syed has this like super effective 10-step method for cold emailing that's helped tons of people succeed. Can you give us a little preview?
Sure. It covers everything from preparing your email and finding the right people to crafting those awesome messages and even using AI for automation.
Sounds pretty comprehensive.
It is. One thing that really stuck with me is the 30-30-50 rule for productivity.
What's that?
Basically, it suggests spending 30% of your time researching your contacts, 30% on writing the email, and then 50% on following up.
Wow, that's interesting. More time on follow-ups than anything else.
It just shows how important persistence is in cold emailing. It's not just a one-and-done thing.
Okay, this 10-step method definitely sounds like a game changer. But I know some people might still be a little hesitant about cold emailing.
Yeah.
They might be thinking, is this even legal? Is it just a fancy word for spam?
It's totally legitimate when done right.
Okay.
You have to follow those anti-spam regulations, make sure your emails are targeted and relevant, and you're genuinely offering value.
So play by the rules and focus on building real relationships.
Exactly.
I love how you put that. Now, everyone loves a good example. Does Syed actually share any templates or strategies that have actually worked?
He does. In fact, he shares 3 of his best performing cold email templates for free.
Whoa, free. That's awesome. Tell me more about these templates.
He calls them the value-driven offer, the pain point solution, and the personal connection. Each one has a different approach depending on who you're reaching out to.
Okay, so let's break these down, starting with the value-driven offer. What's the main idea there?
So with this one, you lead with the benefit. You highlight the value you bring to the table right away, showing how you can help them achieve their goals.
Straight to the point.
Yeah, like quick win for company name.
Okay,
It's specific and it hints at a solution.
I like that. It's attention-grabbing but not too salesy.
Right.
What about the body of the email? How do you keep their attention?
Well, you start by acknowledging a specific problem they might be facing based on your research.
Okay.
And then you mention how you've helped similar businesses get real results.
So it's about establishing credibility.
Yeah, showing your expertise. And then you end with a clear call to action, inviting them to a chat to discuss their needs.
So you make it easy for them to take the next step. Okay, so that's the value-driven offer. What about the pain point solution template?
This one is perfect if you know the recipient is already struggling with a specific issue. You address their pain point right in the subject line, like, struggling with problem, here's how we can help.
So you're directly speaking to their needs.
Right. You acknowledge their pain and position yourself as the solution.
Like a specialist.
Exactly. And then you back it up with, examples and case studies showing how you've helped others overcome similar obstacles.
I like it. Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell, right?
And then I'm assuming you also end with a call to action, just like the other template.
Exactly. Invite them to learn more, schedule a call, whatever makes sense.
Okay, 2 down, 1 to go. Tell me about the personal connection template.
This one's all about building rapport by referencing something specific the recipient has done or said, like an article they wrote, a post they shared, even a presentation they gave.
Showing them you've done your homework.
Yeah.
Really taking the time to get to know them and their work.
Exactly. You start by expressing genuine appreciation for their work and then smoothly transition into how it relates to your product or service.
So you're finding common ground and showing how you can support their goals.
Precisely. And then, of course, you end with a call to action, inviting them to continue the conversation.
I'm loving how these templates offer different angles to connect with people. But have they actually produced results? What kind of outcomes are we talking about here?
Oh, the results are impressive. People using the value-driven offer template have reported generating an extra $50,000 in revenue.
Whoa.
And a 25% response rate.
That's incredible. Proof that leading with value really works. What about the pain point solution template?
That one helped users generate $75,000 in revenue in just 1 quarter.
Wow.
And a 30% conversion rate from responses. So it's great at turning interest into actual sales.
That's amazing. And the personal connection template.
Users have seen a 20% increase in qualified leads and a 50% boost in engagement with their target audience using this one.
Okay, I'm definitely a believer now. Personalization and a strategic approach really pay off.
They do.
But it's important to remember that these templates are just a starting point, right? You still need to adapt them and make them your own.
Absolutely. You got to add your own insights and knowledge of your specific audience.
Well said. Now let's shift gears a bit. I'm dying to hear about a real-world success story, like how did cold email actually transform a business?
Well, Syed actually shares a really cool case study in his article.
Okay.
It's about how he helped Miami Vacations, a vacation rental company, double their revenue using cold email and AI.
Double their revenue. Okay, I'm all ears.
So they had this challenge, right? They had these amazing vacation rentals, but they needed to reach more customers.
Classic problem.
Right. So Syed came in and implemented this 6-step system that completely changed their booking numbers. First, they used AI to create this hyper-targeted list of potential customers who were already interested in Miami Vacations.
Laser focus.
Yeah. Then they used AI again to create these dynamic email templates, personalized with each person's name, travel preferences, even the dates they last searched for a vacation rental.
That's next level personalization.
Right. It made the emails feel so personal, but before sending anything, they made sure their email domains were warmed up to avoid spam filters.
But there's a technical side to this too.
Definitely. Then they crafted these super compelling email sequences that highlighted Miami Vacations' unique selling points, like their proximity to the beach, luxury amenities, those kinds of things.
Okay.
And each email had a clear call to action, encouraging people to book their dream vacation.
I love it. Did they just send one email and hope for the best?
No way. They used automation to set up these drip campaigns that sent follow-up emails at just the right time. Like if someone didn't respond to the first email, they'd get a follow-up with maybe a discount or a special offer.
Smart. So they stayed top of mind without being annoying.
Exactly. And they didn't just set it and forget it. They tracked everything, open rates, click-throughs, bookings, and then they tweaked their strategy based on the data.
So constant optimization.
Always. And the results speak for themselves. In just 3 months, their open rates went up by 40%. Click-through rates jumped by 60%, and their bookings doubled.
Wow, that's seriously impressive. It shows what's possible when you combine smart strategy, personalization, and a bit of AI magic.
It really does. But with AI evolving so quickly, I'm curious, what's next for cold email?
That's a great question.
Well, Syed believes the future is in even greater personalization and efficiency. We're talking about AI-powered tools that can help us craft even more targeted messages, personalize subject lines to perfection, and automate follow-ups with incredible precision.
Wow, that sounds amazing. But how do we make sure we're still being genuine with all this automation?
That's crucial. Syed is a big advocate for using AI to enhance our human capabilities, not repair them.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Right. AI can handle those repetitive tasks, giving us more time to build real relationships and provide that personalized touch.
That's a perfect way to sum it up. All right, that wraps up part 1 of our deep dive into the world of cold email.
Yeah.
We've learned that it's not spam when done right.
Uh-huh.
And we've seen how it can actually help businesses grow and build genuine connections.
Right.
But stay tuned, because in part 2, we're going to go even deeper, exploring those psychological principles behind effective messaging.
Okay.
And uncovering even more secrets to cold email mastery.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive on mastering cold email. Last time, we established that cold email, when done right, is totally different from spam.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool for connecting and even growing a business.
Exactly. But now the question is, how do we actually make it work? What makes people respond to a cold email?
Right. What are the secrets to crafting those messages that really resonate?
Well, it all comes down to understanding human psychology. Why do we open emails in the first place?
Good question. I guess it's because something catches our eye, like a subject line that piques our curiosity or promises something we want.
Exactly. Curiosity, value, relevance. Those are the things that make us click. Syed really emphasizes that in his 10-step method.
So it's not just about writing well. It's about tapping into those psychological triggers.
Right.
Okay, so can you give us some examples of how to actually apply this to cold emailing?
Yeah, definitely. Take curiosity, for example. Think about subject lines that make you instantly want to know more.
Okay.
Instead of something generic like new product launch, what if you got an email that said, this one strategy doubled our sales? Could it work for you?
Ooh, now that would get my attention. It's personal, hints at a valuable insight, and makes me want to learn more.
Exactly. You've tapped into that human desire to learn and improve.
So how do we make sure our cold emails stand out in a crowded inbox and actually trigger that curiosity?
Well, Syed suggests a couple things. One is to use open loops.
Okay, what's an open loop?
It's a storytelling technique where you introduce a question or a problem in the subject line or early on in the email.
Okay.
And then you promise to reveal the solution later on.
Oh, so like a cliffhanger in a movie. You're hooked and have to keep watching to find out what happens.
Exactly. Another thing is to personalize the subject line, like we talked about before.
Okay.
Makes it instantly more relevant.
So instead of just learn more about our services, it would be like, name, I found this resource that could help you with challenge.
Yeah, much better. It feels like a personal message, not a mass email.
Right, okay. So we've sparked their curiosity. But how do we convince them that actually opening the email is worth their time?
That's where the value proposition comes in. Syed says to focus on the benefits, not the features. Instead of just listing all the bells and whistles of your product, you want to highlight how it can help them achieve their goals
Maybe I could help them achieve their goals, make a difference.
or solve their problems.
So it's not about what you're selling, it's about what the customer is gaining.
Precisely. And you have to be specific. Like instead of saying, our software can increase your productivity, you might say, our software can help you save 10 hours per week on administrative tasks.
Now that's a benefit I can relate to.
Yeah.
It's tangible, it's specific, and it speaks to a pain point I might be experiencing.
Exactly. People are busy. They need to know what's in it for them.
I guess I'm missing a part of the plan when you tell me what's in it for me.
Right. Okay, so we've captured their attention, convinced them of the value, but how do we make sure our message truly resonates on a personal level?
Yeah, that's where personalization comes in again, but on a deeper level. It's
Okay.
not just about their name. It's about understanding their motivations, their challenges, even their aspirations.
So how do we get that kind of insight? Do we need to be mind readers?
Not quite, but you do need to do your research. Syed recommends checking out their LinkedIn profile, company website, social media, anything they've published.
Like a detective gathering clues.
Exactly. And then you use that information to tailor your message.
Okay, I see. So if you're reaching out to a marketing manager who's written a lot about lead generation, you might start by saying something like, I loved your recent article on lead generation. I especially resonated with your point about specific challenge.
Perfect. You've shown that you actually care about their work, you've read their stuff, and you understand their problems.
Yeah, that instantly creates a connection, right? It's not just a generic email blast.
Right. It's about building rapport.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the psychology behind effective cold email messaging. But what about the practical side? Like, how do we actually structure these emails to get the best response?
Yeah, Syed has some great tips for that too. He says to keep it clear and concise, get straight to the point.
Okay,
Avoid jargon or technical terms that might confuse people.
keep it simple and focused on what the reader gets out of it.
Exactly. And he also stresses the importance of a strong call to action.
Right.
Make it super clear what you want the recipient to do next.
So schedule a call, visit your website, whatever the goal is, you make it easy for them to take that action.
Precisely. And don't forget about formatting.
Right.
Use bullet points, headings, white space to make it easy on the eyes.
Make it visually appealing so it's not a chore to read.
Right. Now, another thing people often overlook is the tone of the email.
I think I told you that you need to set the tone early on.
Oh, interesting. You mean like the overall vibe of the message?
Exactly. Syed talks about finding the right balance between professionalism and personality.
Okay.
You want to sound credible and trustworthy, but also approachable and relatable.
So not too stiff or formal, but also not unprofessional.
Right. It's about being authentic, being yourself.
I like that. It sounds like it's really all about crafting a message that connects on a human level.
Exactly. It's not about tricks and manipulation. It's about building genuine relationships.
Right. Speaking of building relationships, how do we move beyond that initial email and nurture the connection?
That's where the follow-up comes in.
Uh-huh.
And Syed is a big believer in following up, but strategically.
Okay, I've always struggled with follow-ups. How do you stay top of mind without being annoying?
It's a balancing act. You want to space out your follow-ups, give the recipient time to respond,
Okay.
and each follow-up should offer something new, like additional information or a different perspective on the value you offer.
So not the same email over and over.
No. Each touch point adds value.
Right. And if they're not engaging, maybe it's time to let it go.
Exactly. Respect their boundaries. Now, before we get into the technical stuff, there's one more thing we need to talk about, the ethical side of cold emailing.
Yes, absolutely. We touched on it briefly before, but as we're learning all these strategies, it's important to use them responsibly.
Absolutely. For starters, we need to be transparent about our intentions.
Right, like we're not trying to trick anyone.
Exactly. We're just starting conversations, seeing if there's a fit.
Honesty is the best policy.
Always. We also have to respect people's time in their inbox.
Right. Don't bombard them with irrelevant messages.
Exactly. Quality over quantity.
And we also need to be mindful of data privacy,
Definitely.
especially these days.
Absolutely. Only collect and use data that's absolutely necessary, and always give people a way to opt out.
It's about respect and building trust.
Precisely. When we approach cold emailing ethically, it lays the foundation for positive, long-lasting relationships.
This has been so insightful. I feel much more confident about crafting those messages that actually connect.
Awesome. Now, in part 3, we'll get into the technical side of things, explore Syed's 10-step method in detail, and look at some automation tools and strategies.
Great. Can't wait. Okay, welcome back. We've covered the psychology, the ethics, all those essential ingredients for a successful cold email. Now, let's get into the tactical stuff, that 10-step method that Syed lays out. I'm ready to level up my cold email game.
Awesome. It's a really solid framework, taking you from prep all the way to automation.
Okay, so where do we even begin? What's the first step?
Well, step 1 is email prep, which basically means getting your email and your domain ready to go.
Okay, like setting the stage before big performance.
Exactly. First things first, you want to make sure you're using a professional email address.
Right.
Preferably one with your business domain.
Okay, so like your name at yourcompany.com instead of a generic Gmail or Yahoo account.
Right. It just adds that extra layer of credibility.
Makes sense.
And equally important is warming up your domain and IP address.
Warming up, what does that mean?
So it's basically gradually increasing the volume of emails you send from a new domain or IP.
Okay.
This shows email providers you're legit, not a spammer.
So you're building trust with those gatekeepers.
Exactly. There are actually tools and strategies you can use to do this effectively.
Cool. So we've prepped our email and domain. It's all warmed up and ready to go. What's next?
Step 2 is all about finding the right people to reach out to.
Okay.
Your target audience.
Prospecting and list building.
Yeah. This takes a bit of research. Think LinkedIn, industry events, online communities, you know.
Okay.
You want to be strategic here.
Right, so no more spray and pray. We're being laser focused.
Exactly. Once you know who you're targeting, then you need to pick the right platform to send your emails from.
Okay, that's step 3.
Cold email platforms.
So what should we be looking for in a platform?
There are tons of options out there. Some are more general, like MailChimp or HubSpot. Others are specifically for cold email.
Oh.
You want to find one that fits your needs and your budget.
Right, but are there any, like, must-have features?
Definitely. Automation, personalization, and tracking are essential.
Okay, so automation to streamline things.
Yeah.
Personalization to tailor the messages. And tracking to measure your results.
Exactly. These features can really make your life easier.
Okay, so we've got our platform sorted. What's next?
Step 4 is where the real magic happens. It's personalization.
Okay, we've talked about this a bit, but I'm ready to dive deeper.
It's about taking those templates and making each email feel like it was written just for that one person.
Glad you brought all those books just for that one.
Right, we did all that research back in step 2.
Exactly. Now you use it. Mention their name, company, their interests, their pain points.
Really bring in that detective work.
Yeah, anything that shows you've done your homework.
So they know it's not a mass email.
Right.
Okay, personalization check. Now, what about those crucial first impressions?
Step 5 is all about subject lines. That's the first thing people see, so it's gotta be good.
Like the headline of a news article. Gotta grab their attention.
Exactly. Syed says keep them short, clear, and intriguing.
Okay, any examples?
Sure. Instead of improving your marketing strategy, you might try quick question about your marketing goals. Or name, I found this resource that could help you with challenge.
Ooh, those are much better. They make me want to click.
Right. And don't be afraid to A/B test different subject lines.
Okay, so subject lines, check. Now what about the actual content, the body of the email?
Step 6, copywriting with templates. Syed provides some proven templates you can adapt, but you still need to personalize them, you know? Add your own voice and insights.
So it's a balance between structure and creativity.
Exactly. And remember, keep it clear, concise, focus on the value you offer, and have a strong call to action.
Easy to read, straight to the point, highlight the benefits, and tell them what to do next.
Got it. What about timing?
Step 7, scheduling.
Does it really matter when you send these emails?
It can make a big difference.
Okay.
You want to think about time zones, work schedules, peak email usage times.
Right. Don't want to send an important email on a Friday afternoon when everyone's already checked out.
Exactly. And you can use tools to automate this, sending emails at the optimal time for each recipient.
Wow, that's cool. Okay, what's next?
Step 8 is simulating one-on-one emails. This is where we really take personalization to the next level. Okay, how do we make a mass email feel like a personal conversation?
By using dynamic content and conditional logic.
Okay.
These tools let you tailor emails based on specific recipient data. Like you could have different versions based on their industry or job title.
So it's about using tech to create a human touch.
Exactly. Imagine getting an email that mentions your company, a recent article you wrote, and offers a solution that's perfect for you.
Yeah, that would definitely make me pay attention. Okay, after we send those carefully crafted emails, what's next?
Step 9 is all about follow-ups.
Okay, automated follow-ups. The art of staying persistent without being annoying.
Exactly. You want to space them out, offer something new in each one, and pay attention to how the recipient is responding.
Right, add value and be respectful.
Yeah. And then finally, step 10, AI automation. This is where things get really exciting.
Okay, we touched on this before, but I'm ready to hear more about how AI is changing the game.
Well, AI is helping us personalize at scale, optimize campaigns, and even predict which leads are most likely to convert.
Wow, that's amazing. Can you give me an example?
Imagine an AI tool that analyzes your prospects' online behavior,
Okay.
figures out their interests and pain points,
Right.
and then automatically writes a personalized email just for them.
It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
This is a classic piece of sci-fi movie memorabilia.
But with all this automation, are we losing the human element?
That's a good question. Syed believes that AI should be used to enhance what we do, not replace us.
Okay, so find that balance.
Exactly. AI can handle the repetitive stuff, and that frees us up to build those real relationships.
That's a great way to put it. Well, we've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive.
We have.
What are some key takeaways you want our listeners to remember?
For me, it's that cold email is about connection, not manipulation.
Right.
It's about being human, being helpful, and offering value.
And it's about continually learning and trying new things.
Absolutely. It's a process, and it takes effort, but the rewards can be huge.
Well said. And remember, everyone, Syed's website is an amazing resource for anyone who wants to master cold email. It's emailsequence.com.
Definitely check it out.
All right, that wraps up our deep dive. I hope everyone feels empowered to go out there and build those connections one email at a time.
Cheers to that.